What's up, everybody? So I just put this video together and my wife said you need to give them an intro to kind of explain what you're doing or they're going to be lost. I had more faith in you guys, but neither here nor there. I like to have a number of different shows, especially when there's a drought in releases. I can only review what gets released. If nothing gets released, I can't review it. So rather than have you go without a few laughs and some information, I wanted to try something new. My mission here has always been twofold: to inform and entertain and find some balance between the two. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. We're still in the beginning stages, but we're going to have a number of different news topics that aren't quite big enough for a sit-down Saturday, mixed with some fun for some laughs. And that is the basis of Skull Talk. Let's get started. Welcome to the first episode of Skull Talk. We got a full show for you today. We got tons to talk about. We're going to talk about the Jetfire. We're going to talk about the Motormaster. We're going to talk about TFCon. So let's get started. This Jetfire, this Fanstoys Phoenix X drop. A lot of people asked me if I was going to buy it. A lot of people asked me if I wanted to look at theirs and why I appreciate their offers. I had to say no because that's not a behavior that I ever want to reward. I don't care for that sort of tactic. Let me know that a painted one is coming in the future, or give me the painted one to begin with. But don't let me spend almost $200 on something that isn't the way I wanted it to be in the first place. So I passed on that. I wasn't interested. Turns out the paint is beautiful, but there seems to be an issue. While in the promotional materials it seems like they promised metallic paint, as it turns out only metallic paint was applied to the white and a glossy red was applied to the red. Now the metallic paint was applied to the red that we received in our initial Fanstoys Phoenix release. So in order to really get that metallic look that you expect from Fanstoys, you'd have to Frankenstein monster the two of them together, and that to me is just not the right choice. And I can say that as a person who's made plenty wrong choices. But people seem to be reasonably happy or content with their purchase, and ultimately that's all that matters, so I'm happy for them. It's just how I feel about it. Now let's check in with Chris from Crashbox Corner and learn about dry brushing.
What's up, party people? Chris from Crashbox here. Welcome to the Crashbox studio. It's a mess. Who cares? Today we're going to learn how to dry brush. Let's check it out. Alright, so we have a brick wall here already carved out and already base coated black. What we're going to do is dry brush this with the red here. And we're going to use this brush. And we're going to put the paint on the brush. Like so. And then we're going to wipe off almost all of it. And we're just going to use this old newspaper here. So then we're going to take this and we're going to brush it onto the bricks. And you can immediately see that it is painting it but not coating it. You really can't mess this up. You just put it on till it feels right. Now the trick to this is to layer it with different colors, different browns. You can use blacks, light browns, and whites. So once you do all that, you end up with something that looks like this. And that's dry brushing 101. See you next time.
Thanks, Chris. And let's talk about something else that's controversial that went on last month. TFCon happened last month, and to those that went, I hope you had a great time. But something fascinating happened. TFCon tweeted out that Hasbro's lawyers had contacted them, and as a result of that conversation, they would no longer be airing the '86 movie. Hasbro should consider themselves fortunate that they have a franchise that people would even be willing to gather around when they drove their BotCon right into the ground. So now you're going to hate on the success of TFCon by having them stop to show the movie that they love and the fans love that have to get together through a third-party means, which is TFCon, because you can't do it right. I've been a Transformer fan all my life. I went to BotCon in 2008. It's the first thing that took me out of the Transformers fandom, and it did it for about 6 years because I had such a horrible experience. Turned me off from the fandom completely for 6 years. I went to TFCon after my interest revitalized a bit. I've been back in ever since. This to me is evidence of a priority of dollar signs over the franchise that the fans have begun to adore. I've talked about this a few times, that when you create something and you give it to the world, you don't actually own it anymore. You may own it on paper, but the people own a piece of that too because it means something to them. And this has rustled my feathers a bit, so let's talk about something pretty.
Now these are the toys Bobby bought in the month of March. SH Figuarts, Thor, Falcon, and Wasp, Hot Toys, Trash Bag Luke, and Black Series General Grievous. All of the reviews are available on the Nerd Rage Radio Patreon. The link is in the description. It's my job to pick which is the best looking figure of the month, and the winner is So I think the Wasp looks good. The paint looks clean. I like the colors. Looks good. Thor looks good. I don't love his hands. His hands look they look more toyish. And like his face looks so real, and his hands look like they just pulled him off of like a cheap toy figure. Falcon's wings look great. Looks just like character. I guess that's the mission. I like the metallic paint, but actually, even the matte paint on both of them, I feel like it just looks nice.
Sharp.
And yeah, and very thin lines, like details. Looks good. Grievous, I like his little cape with his little pockets. He's super light. Super light. Kind of has a big Velcro for his cape. Just a little bit out of proportion. I mean, Luke, I guess, would be my favorite. I don't know that it's a fair competition. But I like the textures on his fabrics. His face sculpt looks great. His hands also look real, not just his face. So he would be the winner. Luke would be the winner.
Thank you for that, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, and you heard her. You may disagree, but she's right and you're wrong. Them the rules. Now, if you've been listening to Nerve Rage Radio or you've been watching 4Dummies, and you know that I've been going through a transitional period with my collection, specifically in regard to Transformers. I find them extremely difficult to display, especially in contrast to 1/12 and 1/6 figures. So I've been busting my head against the wall and driving my wife nuts in order to find a way to display them properly. And I'm getting close. So when we have a little skull talk, we're going to take a moment and we're going to look at what we're doing, and we're going to give an update on the collection and the display, so you can get an idea of what goes on behind the scenes in a little segment I like to call Puree Display. I do half of this just to come up with the rhyming story. So this is a collection of boxes that I bought for a display case, which is sitting over there, and after I put it into place, I realized it's not going to work. It's just too small across the board. I don't mean just in height. I wanted it to be a little shorter. Just in general, it doesn't have the presence. So what did I do? What any responsible adult does. I bought another case. Here's a piece of that. Here's a piece of that. Here's a piece of that. That's gonna go together and take the place of this thing. Now, this happened to come in at the same time that I bought strip lights in order to do lighting for my shelves. Therefore, all my Transformers are all over my house while I get this lighting done with my buddy Nick, which means empty Transformer shelves. Now, don't worry, I'll do a video on this lighting process to help those, because I could have used it when doing mine. This is the only one I actually have done, and the only one that's actually in place is the Dinobot shelf, and as you can see, it does light up quite nice. The rest of it still isn't in place, but it is lit. Nothing else is connected. Now, to go along with all that, I just recently finished a diorama, so I still have diorama supplies all over the floor because I just finished this 3 3/4 Jabba's Palace, which looks awesome and came out great. However, the entire basement is a mess. Maybe I should call it display disarray, am I right? But the Nerve Rage room looks great. Hopefully I'll have an update for you on the rest of it next time we do it. Also this month we got some news from GCI. Apparently they're having new leadership over there. They put up a post this week explaining the details of that change. I've heard from people saying that they've had some order delays and problems with GCI. I hit them up not too long ago to ask what was up with it. He explained to me that he was going through some personal issues. That's not my business to put out there, nor is it yours, to be fair. So I'm going to leave that out of it. The good news is these new folks seem to be taking care of the previous orders, and they put up this post to explain this. Online sales are suspended with the purpose of correcting the issues of the previous orders. The existing stock is going to be sent out to those that it can fulfill. A refund process seems to be in the works. If you have an outstanding order, please hit them up with all the information. You can find them on Facebook, etc., etc. Links to their page will be in the description. New folks, namely Jay and Lance, are handling the management of GCI at the moment. They're liquidating present stock, so I would check out their page and see what you can get for a good deal to fulfill orders from previous transactions done with GCI. So hopefully everything gets sorted out over there. I've always had good experiences with them, and that's all I can account for, but it seems like some things got rocky along the way. But let's not get too down in the dumps. Let's bring ourselves up with a bit of dinosaur news.
Oh, you just caught me in the middle of the day. Just want to let you know the name Brontosaurus is back. Remember when you were a kid and you told mom and dad that it's not Brontosaurus, it's a Patasaurus? Well, it turns out they may be two separate animals from the same family.
Thanks, Marilyn Phil. X-Transbots has also given us pictures of their Gravestone, which is their Motormaster attempt. Many people are very excited about this line, where it's headed, where it's going, and the price is right for most people, making it a winner across the board for many. But when these pictures hit, it seemed to initiate mixed feelings from the fandom. Many people seem to be dissatisfied. There seemed to be a fair amount of let's wait and see how it goes. I think these pictures weren't the best to put out in terms of promotion, but from what I see, I don't hate it. I think the colors are a big turn off, and that's why they should have waited until they had something a little bit closer to the finish line before they put pictures out. Obviously, the feet don't look great, but it's also allowing for a lot of articulation, and it seems to be well balanced within that articulation. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, they will not be my robots for robot mode, so it doesn't much matter to me anyway. However, I think it's a little too early to throw the towel in. But what I did do is I reached out to the fandom via my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and asked what your opinion was, and let's have a bit of that.
What is up with those feet?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. He just doesn't look like a mean Motormaster to me. However, I'm going to reserve judgment because I like the 2 other Stunticons that are out right now.
Does the torso seem too big? Yeah. Do the feet seem way too small? Yeah. Is it shameless what I'm doing in the background right now? Duh. Do I care? Nope.
It's real good. I really like the diecast. It's got a nice scale, pleasant articulation.
But whoever's posing this thing, they need to calm down a little bit.
I'm kind of reserving judgment because it's a prototype and the rest of them are dope.
Feet articulation clearly destroys the sculpt. The colour definitely can't be final. The head looks like Megatron's in a shoebox.
It is still a prototype. I believe by the final version of this product, it'll be exactly what us fans are hoping for.
It's very well articulated, and we'll see what it looks like when it gets painted.
No, sir. I don't like it.
Absolutely great. The articulation is incredible, but those photos did not do it justice at all.
I think it looks nice.
I think it looks stupid.
I think you look stupid.
But the figure is gappy in that pose. If it's at all stable, I'm in on that figure. XTV has gotten enough of my goodwill from their previous Stunticons that I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't like it, but I can't put my finger on why. I would say it's probably something to do with those sweet dance poses that they put it in.
I like the die-cast placement, I like the articulation, but I hate the head sculpt and I hate the backpack.
Yeah, I'm excited and I'm going to be getting the G2 version.
So that'll conclude this month's episode. I'm not going to be doing this monthly. I'm not going to be doing it bi-weekly. I'm going to be doing it as the information allows in order to kind of give a multiple set of opinions and accounts on information that we need to talk about in a smaller space. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.